Don't talk about your parents. God, it's so boring. Especially immigrants, I've noticed that. Like Korean girls will always talk about their crazy Korean dad. And it's not interesting to us that your immigrant parents are out of touch with society. So don't tell me the 10 kookiest things your immigrant dad said. Unless you're me. My dad's fascinating. He's from the Gorbals, Glasgow. He's a street kid. Now, I grew up fine. He worked his ass off, got us out of Britain, brought us to Canada, where we grew up middle class. We had a pool. Everything was awesome. Although cheap people get you crappy toys. I didn't get the Bionic Man. I got his boss, Oscar Goldman or something. Just a man in a suit at a desk like this. I basically got this for Christmas once. But I would like to share with you my 10 favorite Jimmy McInnes quotes. That's my father's name. Number 1, I was introducing him to introducing my girlfriend to my parents. My mother brought out my teddy bear that I had when I was a kid. It's called Teddy. Looks kind of garish now, half a century old. He's got an eye hanging out. And my dad looked at her and he goes, "You like that? You like Teddy?" Ah, fucked Teddy. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but it's actually a good technique. What you do is you present new people the worst of you. You say something outrageous, possibly racist, sexist, homophobic, whatever. And if they run away screaming, you know that person is going to do that eventually. So it saves you a lot of time. I can't recommend enough for your first impression to be terrible with someone. Number 2, he accuses my brother and I of lying. And the way he phrases it is, he lies with facility. I don't know. I just like that word facility in that context. Number 3 is a little more fun. He goes, "The best thing about Glasgow, you never get homesick." And I talked to a Glaswegian about that. And he goes, "That's mostly true, but not entirely actually, because Hogmanay," which is their New Year's Eve, "Hogmanay, I miss. So that's one day out of the 364, but the other days, he's correct." Which brings us to number 4, where in Cuba, he barked out, "Glaswegians are stupid, ugly, and violent." And a Glaswegian woman was there. And she turned around and goes, "See you, fuck you, you prick. You're ugly old man, you're disgusting. I'll kill you. I'll murder you right now. I'll bat you so I will." And my dad goes, "You just proved my point." Because she was ugly, he's ugly. She was threatening to kill him, which is stupid. We got the violent. Everything's in there. They did it. And, of course, those two ended up arm in arm singing till all hours of the night, kept the rest of the family up. I think they're still best friends. Number 5, this one is going to make you feel sorry for me. He said, "I have a multitude of ways Gavin could save money on taxes, but his IQ is too low for him to understand." If your father says you have a low IQ, you likely have a low IQ. This guy's been around. He's watched your brain develop, and he's not happy with what this blue blob has become. But his 2 biggest problems are that my brother and I won't listen to his tax schemes, and that for some strange reason, the IRS is always auditing him. Auditing him. Yeah. Are you seeing a pattern here, Dad? My 2 biggest problems are no one will listen to my inventions and I'm constantly fucking broke. Number 6. Now, he's got a lot of death ones. We were dealing with a death in the family recently and everyone was sad but him. And he was mad at me for being sad. Because why cry? The guy's dead. And he yelled at me, "I could die tomorrow and I wouldn't give a fucking shit!" It was that loud, too. He also said, I didn't include this one, and this is a freebie I'm giving you, an extra, but he goes, "I could be content in an abyss." In an abyss. I could be content in an abyss. And then he added, "If there was a chair there, that would be ideal. A 6-pack would be nice too, but those would not be mandatory." He speaks in like an affected English accent, which he claims is because people can't understand his normal accent, but I think it's because he's trying to sound more aristocratic, which is big in Britain. They like to have posh accents. But I go, "Dad, that's death, you realize. Don't say that around Mom. To say you could be happy in an abyss means you're fine with death. You're supposed to be scared of death." And he goes, "Ugh, get over it. It's liberating to accept death." Okay. Number 7, this one's a cute one. "Are you a man or a mouse, boy? Squeak up." I say it to my kids now all the time. You end up, all those horrible things your dad says, like I'm not heating Stinson Avenue, you end up saying that about your street. I'm not heating Prescott Avenue when they leave the door open in the winter, or same with air conditioning in the summer. You become the guy. It's like that horror movie, The Beast Within. When you turn 18, you become your dad. Well, later now, 35. But yeah, a lot of machismo stuff. And when I say it to my kids, they just go squeak. They accept it. They go, I'm not a man. I'm 4. 4-year-olds are not men. But they are trans. I'm on the right side of history. But yeah, he has a lot of those. Like when we play pool, I like to be delicate when I play pool. And we have a pool table in the house. I told you we grew up middle class. And I would just touch the ball. I don't think about my next shot. I just want this to go in gently. Serenity now. And every time that would happen, I'd often fuck up and I wouldn't give it enough gusto and it wouldn't even make it to the hole. And my dad would go, Lorraine! She wanted a girl. Your wish came true. You got a girl. We got a wee girl in the house. So I put that in the same category as squeak up. What are we at now? 8? One morning he woke up and screamed at me, oh, for fuck's sakes! Now, in his defense, Marvin Gaye was popular, and I wanted him to wake up because I wanted to hang out with him, but he was sleeping in. He's probably hungover, as I am right now, actually. And I went up to, not knowing what the song means, but I went up to him and I sort of peeled the covers off his face, and I whispered, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Let's make love tonight. Do-do-do-do. He responded with that. I learned after that, never suggest making love to your dad. They don't like it. Number 9, we were playing Trivial Pursuit, and I suck at that. I don't get, it's like Marilyn Monroe first met Walter Matthau on the shooting of what classic? I don't know Marilyn Monroe film. Some Like It Hot, wasn't she in that? Wasn't that like a drag queen thing? I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff. And so we were playing in teams, and it was like my in-laws and my wife and me and dad and brothers and stuff. And he screamed that because he screamed this because I kept getting the questions wrong. I kept not knowing things. He snapped and said, not even remotely kidding, I don't want this person on my team. He knows nothing. And that hurt my feelings. But he was right. Number 10, this is my favorite one because it was very astute. Like the thing about kids who grew up poor on the streets is they really can deliver their barbs in a very efficient way. They're not petty. They just take some truth and then they just turn it into a little penknife and just jab you in the neck. We were upstate and he said, oh my God, Shahola, Pennsylvania. I know someone who owns a barber shop up here. I know him from Florida. They go to Florida in the winter. And so he goes to visit him and he was there and he said hi and then he came back to my house. He goes, can you believe that? Is that no interesting? And I go, no, it's not interesting at all. I don't care. You know a guy who lives nearby? There's no story there. And he goes, yes, you would have a reaction like that. And then he goes, your friends are in media and entertainment, and those people tend to be shallow and stupid. And I sort of did a tally of my friends, and they are in media and entertainment, and a lot of them are shallow and stupid. Moral of the story, your dad's not interesting, my dad is, but all dads are right all the time. You may think they're wrong. I think Mark Twain said his dad was dumb when he was 18, when Mark Twain was 18 and 25, and then all of a sudden his dad became smart when Mark Twain became an adult. In other words, your dad's always right. It's only just a matter of time before you figure it out. Hey folks, go to rebelcruise.ca. Pull up the thingamajiggy there. We're going to go from Miami to a bunch of Mexican places and then back again. Like-minded folks, my dad, Jimmy McInnes, is going to be there, and we'll talk about whatever you want and get hammered, eh?